Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a high-level Protoss versus Protoss. Today we have a very special game, because in the bottom right we have DKZ's Hero as our blue Protoss player, perhaps one of the best TOS players to have ever lived. And in the top left we have a player who probably has the highest amount of games, not just out of Protoss players, but honestly out of anyone that I have ever seen, and it's going to be Strange. Now, there is a reason why Strange has a very high amount of games. And we're seeing that reason here being, you know, communicated in a way that only Strange could. And that's because he proxy robos about, well, 90% of his PvPs. I don't actually know what he plays in PvZ or PvT. I just know that in Protoss versus Protoss, he all-ins every single game. So it is extremely rare for him to have a game that ends up going longer than, well, 5 minutes really. That is I think the average game length that he's working with. Now, has he scouted? Has he figured out what his opponent is up to? He hasn't really yet. Open up with Adept here, follows it up with a Prism. At the same time, Hero, like the dirty dog that he is, also decided to go for a bit of a proxy. Has a Stargate proxy. Is there anything at home here for Strange? No, there's not. Strange is going to be losing a hell of a lot of units, and I don't think there's actually anything that Strange can do about it anymore. Oracle's about to pop, has no energy available for a recall, no battery inside either, so this is going to be well, a classic Strange game, as we call them in the world of StarCraft 2, because he's just going to lose every single worker here, and the game is not going to last much longer than 5 minutes. He does make his way over in towards the main base and might be capable of getting a couple of counter kills himself. That's 8, 9 kills on his own side, 11. Okay, this Oracle got 11 kills. At the same time, these Adepts are getting 4, 5 workers. There's 2 Stalkers here on the low ground that are dealing some decent damage. Immortal making his way across the map as well. Adept now trying to shade out. Still gets 8 kills, which is a surprisingly high amount. Prism in a bit of trouble though, as the Phoenix does find it. Batteries now being taken out by these Stalkers. Can we get a warp in? Perhaps we can. But is that going to be enough? I don't think that's quite the case. Oracle once again has a little bit of energy. He starts making its way across the map once more. Don't forget that if Hero survives just for any amount of time at this point, I think he's going to be in a fantastic spot. He has 2 gateway production. There we go. GG gets called as the Oracle flies in, and within 4 minutes and 24 seconds, Hero has won game number 1. Alright, game number 2 over here is going to be played on Ancient Cistern. After game 1, like we just saw, I wonder if Strange is going to switch it up a little bit, or if he's completely okay with how that went. He's gonna go for a scout, but sometimes... So this is a common thing that the... Oh my god, it's Hero that proxies a pylon here. Ooh. Hero is also a cheeky proxy man, of course. It's going to be a fake proxy, as we call that. And we'll get into that in a little bit. For now, let's see what Strange is doing. Not a whole lot. Now, this is a fake proxy. Well, it's a real proxy, but there's no building being proxied with it. And that means that it's... Oh, Strange. This is a typical Strange move. This is a typical Strange move. This happens in a lot of games, with Strange included. This is actually classic Strange. So basically what Hero is doing here is saying, hey, I'm pretending to proxy something. You need to prepare for everything now, okay? Prepare for everything or die versus something. But then this sentry is going to get spotted here by this probe, and I honestly think that Strange is going to be aware of what's kicking off here. Open up with a sentry himself. Chrono boost his own warp gate right now. He's going to get a quick expansion and has this pylon. This pylon in the main base is freaking huge, let me tell you. That is a big pylon, and that's a pylon that Hero at some point needs to become aware of. If Hero does not become aware of the fact that there's a pylon in his main base in such a sad location, he could end up losing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 workers to Adepts, and that would be really painful. That's not the dream start that you're thinking about. Sentry threw out a hallucination. Both players will be scouting each other. These 3 Stalkers moving somewhere, some way. I'm not quite sure why. Twilight on the way already here for Strange. Meanwhile, Hero's playing it safe. Perhaps not quite sure what to do. Hasn't built any tech as of yet, which is somewhat surprising. There's no tech whatsoever. I wonder if the first 2 Adepts are just straight up gonna go into the main base. Like, what is the What is the thought here? Yeah, it's going to be the first to adapt. Want to go in as soon as possible, which makes a little bit of sense at least. Meanwhile, Hero with a robotics facility, so wanting to go most likely for an all-in. The adapter now running in. Let's see how quick Hero is going to be with his responses. That's 1 probe. That's going to be 2 probes. It's going to be 3 probes. And finishes the shade, pisses off. That I kind of appreciate. Now, there's 2 more adapts that are indeed on the way, as these 2 bad boys will shade in as well. It's going to be 4 adapts lost versus how many workers? Well, 5-6 workers perhaps. Ooh, Hero sends them back in immediately. That's going to mean that he'll lose 2 more workers for no real reason. 7 workers being taken out here. 2 force fields thrown down as well. 4 adapts have been lost. As here comes Hero with a similar move. Gets 2 worker kills, gets 3 worker kills, and that will be it for him. The thing that worries me most here, honestly, is going to be the follow-up. This seems freaking awful. Like, no offense to Hero, but this is legitimately the worst build I've seen in my life. It's gonna get a Prism out right now, but what are you gonna push with? With what? Pure Sentry Stalker? Strange here is already going in towards Blink, Forge, Robotics Facility. Strange also is up about 10 workers. Battery is very far back though, and that could be an issue. But at the same time, I mean, is it really going to be an issue? Wait, where did that Prism go? Oh, it's still over here. Maybe he's gonna drop in the main base, but he hasn't built a worker in like 5 minutes now. Completely without any eco whatsoever. No follow-up possibility either here for Hero. And if this works, I'm going to be shocked. It's gonna just drop adapts, I guess, in the main base and then shade adapts in towards the natural at the same time. That is a move that I do kind of like. You're gonna need to deal some damage at some point, and I think this is as good a try as any, really. So here we go. 2 adapts in the natural will get cancelled. 2 adapts in the main base are going to go unspotted, at least for now. Do you shade back? Where do you go? I don't quite know. See how fast Strange is. Is supply block? Can't warp anything in to block these guys. As 2 adapts will not finish in towards the natural. And instead will just go back in towards the main base. Now don't forget, Blink has finished up. And that means that these types of moves that Hero is doing are kind of scary. Hero is on 37 workers against 42. So he's closed that gap a little bit. Hero's getting out Immortals as well, which is important in order to deal with those Stalkers. And there's quite a few sentries too. We have a minor supply block right now from our Korean Protoss player, who's finally throwing down the Twilight Council. Very late, but rather late than never is what I always say. The best time to build a Twilight Council is at 3 minutes and 40 seconds. The second best time is right about now. So I'm glad that that Hero did go for that. Because if you only build Immortals the entire time, you might think, hey, that's a good army. But the moment charge slots come out, you'll have a very difficult time. And also you have no mobility at all. So you can never catch any of the Stalkers that are out on the map. Like, that's going to be a huge issue. So you're constantly getting base traded. Your opponent can expand much, much faster, despite Immortals feeling much stronger than Stalkers. Stalkers are usually considered to be the best unit in the Protoss versus Protoss matchup. So we see Strange just pretty much setting up for, I think, what's going to be a 2-base all-in, as he's adding 4 more gateways here. He stays on 4 gas, 2 bases, and is really not doing much of anything. I'm curious if he's going to get a follow-up like type of tech. Like, is there going to be charge? Is there going to be a Templar Archives? Are we going to see Adept Glaives perhaps even? This is something that Strange has shown in the past that he's quite keen of. But so far it just seems to be more Immortals, more Stalkers, and now a 3rd base. And I think the plan here is that this is a fake 3rd base, and the moment that Hero kind of spots this base himself, he'll get his own 3rd base. Uh-oh, these adepts are going to be in quite some trouble. There we go, good blink forward here out of Strange. We'll catch those 2 bad boys. At the same time, Prism goes in towards the main base. There are 4 Stalkers that were supposedly in position, but are just barely going to miss this Prism. Strange now moves in to try and catch this, but these adepts should actually be safe. Get 4 or 5 kills. Could definitely have been saved had that Prism been in position. That wasn't the case. 5 worker kills. Hero for the first time in quite a while now ahead in workers. 45 versus 41. Partially, of course, due to Strange really not doing anything when it comes to worker production for a very long time. 2 new adepts get constructed immediately. We still have that prism in the main, and there's now an Archon that has finished up. So this is really a very powerful defensive setup that Hero is going for. And I would have never bet on him after the early game, right? 2 adepts come in, kill a crap ton of workers, deny a lot of mining time. You have to open Robo in order to feel somewhat safe. Like, this is not a good start at all. But now, I'm not saying I'm feeling it, but I kind of am feeling it, honestly. 4 Immortals versus 5. Like, yes, there are a lot of Stalkers, but Stalkers do lose their potential in a straight-up engagement, which it seems that's what Strange is going for. A couple of Stalkers will be forced to stay at home as well to deal with a potential Prism. There's going to be 1 or 2 Archons maybe. So we also have Glaives on the way right now. The only thing that Strange really has going for himself over here is that he has a major supply lead. And, well, major. He's up 8 supply, which I guess is not really that major. Because there's already 8 supply waiting in his own main base again, right? Waiting for that prism, which only costs 2 supply. Now, a couple of probes get sent out on the map, trying to figure out what's going on, trying to get some information on if there's a move out happening. This has been a really passive game, with Hero just waiting for something to happen so he can send stuff in. I kind of do like that. These Archons now being morphed. There's a single battery. Worker count significantly higher here for Hero by about 4 than for Strange. And this probe is going to come in, see that it's empty. That will trigger these adepts to walk in as well. And the only thing I'm really afraid of right now for Hero is the positioning. If the positioning is going to be okay, he's going to be in a fabulous spot. Okay, here come the adepts. Pam pam. We'll take out a bunch of workers here, and that will kind of force Strange's hand, I think. We'll kind of say, hey Strange, you need to hurry up right now. Glaive is actually done already, Resonating Glaive. Which means that adept is going to be taken care of real quick. So what's better, Resonating Glaives here or Charge? We're going to see. Defensive setup looks good. There's a Prism. Army supply slightly higher for Strange though. Is he going to shade at all? There's 2 Archons in the far back. Initial fight looks good for Strange as well. So he takes out a bunch of Zealots here. Glaives definitely helping a lot more. There's a very low Archon already, as Hero tries to move back into battery range right now. Ooh, adepts are going to shade in. Where are you going to go first? Natural, main. Seems like the main is going to be the answer. Perhaps both bases at the same time. Natural getting completely wrecked here, as that's going to be 12, 14 workers going down instantly. At the same time, in the main base, a couple more workers are going down as well. 157 supply to 116 right now. Strange is taking a supply lead, an eco lead, as well as pushing forward. It tries to take out another Archon. Prism flies into the Stalker. Force is going to get taken out. Strange does need to be careful. This is the one weak spot he has. He's up in workers. He doesn't necessarily need to fight, but he believes that he can. As he warps in 8 more adepts, Stalkers are now pushing forward, and I do believe that Strange has done it. After a very solid early game, leaves Hero in the dust and ties up the score 1-1. I actually almost forgot to mention, well, I didn't almost forget to mention, I actually completely forgot to mention the fact that if Strange doesn't play a 1 base all-in, he often plays 2 base all-ins. You know, you have the one trick ponies. Yeah. Strange is a pony with multiple tricks, but all the tricks look kind of alike, you know? It's like a kick flip with his right foot in front and a kick flip with his left foot in front. If you look from a distance, it looks fairly similar, but I love watching games like this. I'm a huge fan of Strange on the ladder. I'm a huge fan of Strange as a player in tournaments as well. It's just fun to watch because you know pretty much what he's going to do, but because he has so many different little gimmicks in the early game, he often gets ahead, or you know, if you miss a gimmick, you can just end up dying completely. And you feel so stupid because you knew that he had those gimmicks. The best thing when you're preparing for Strange to do is just to compile a massive list of the things that he does, like hiding a pylon in your main base, running by with 2 adepts, like probe hiding in your natural, robotic facility right outside of your natural, 2 base all in with Glaives, 2 base all in with Stalker, Immortal Sentry, like all of these types of things. And you just kind of write them down, and before every single game you just go over the list like a checklist. And then during the game you just keep it as like a mental checklist. So in your head you're just going over things like, okay, main base, right. Main base is secure. Let's do it. And I think then you have a way higher chance of winning. Here we actually see Strange once again opening up with, yes, a delayed scout, but no proxy whatsoever. I don't think Hero is going to fall for the pylon in the main base trick twice in a row, but I'm not sure if that's going to stop Strange from trying. Strange also a player that I don't really think plays any Stargate opener. I can't recall him ever building a Stargate. Stargate feels relatively insecure, so that would make some sense. He's a player that likes consistency in his build orders. Okay, he wants the same situation to happen many times. I love the way he's doing this. This is exactly how I play Sentry build orders as well right now. So you open up with Stalker plus Zealot, and then you start your next Sentry and you cancel the Zealot. That way the animation of the gateway never changes. So if you full cancel a unit, your gateway will close for a little bit. And then you need to start the Sentry, then it will open again. It's really just a fraction of a second. It's a very small amount of time, but it is noticeable if the probe is nearby. So always keep a unit building, queue up the Sentry, and then cancel the first unit, rather than canceling the unit then starting the Sentry. I think that's the optimal way of doing things. This pylon's gonna get cancelled, this pylon's gonna get cancelled, and now I'm real curious to see how Strange is going to behave here. Look at this madman, by the way. My boy Hero over here, not scouting in his own main base. He just doesn't give a crap. Doesn't he not remember what happened last game? Strange as well. He's, he knows his own tricks. He's making sure there's nothing in there with the Sentry. He's like, okay, let me just check real fast. Let me just make sure there's nothing in my main base. And I appreciate that, Strange. I really do appreciate that. Nexus going down for both players here. That's all very, very exciting. We have this Twilight Council that is pretty quick for Strange. We have a Sentry as well coming out. I really wonder what he's going to be doing. Are we just going to see another fast Forge as a follow-up and then going into a 2-base all-in? Are we going to see some 3-base plays? I mean, it would be kind of epic if in game 1 we saw 1-base plays, in game 2 we saw 2-base plays, and then in game 3 we actually get a 3rd Nexus. Well, actually, we also got a 3rd Nexus in the last game. But it still felt like a 2-base all-in because it was on 54 workers, which is... I think it's higher than 2-base eco. The last I'm gonna count the last one as a 2-base all-in. It's a fake third. There's no intention of a macro game. This is no intention at all of a macro game. We'll call it a 2-base still. I think it counts. You have a fast robo here for Hero, so he must be pooping his pants right now. Strange is just looking for anything that's out of the ordinary. It's like, okay, no pylons here in the far left. We're not going to see any DTs coming in either. That's cool, that's cool, that's cool. Forge starts right now in the main base. As Hero probably is kind of, just eyeing the possibility of getting a 3rd base at some point. Starts his own observer. He's definitely afraid. He's playing like someone that's afraid. Hero doesn't want to win. He just doesn't want to lose right now. And I'm loving these scouts, by the way. I really am quite a big fan of this. The thing that this does is it allows you to scout for any type of proxy pylons, proxy gateways. You might catch a dark shrine somewhere. And you also get to see whether the 3rd base is building with these 2 probes. Look at this. This is just real nice. Yes, you don't get to enter the main base, but a hallucination later can do this. I think I'm actually going to copy this because this looks really cool. It's a big play. Now, once again, we have Strange going for the 4 gases. Are going to get spotted by these probes. So now the hallucination comes in towards the main base. And I'm not so sure how happy Hero is going to be with all of this. Hero is actually playing a very passive game with an Immortal before the 3rd base. With just a late 3rd here. Now straight into a Robo Bay. Like, I think he's actually trying to blind counter Strange here. And this is a high level of respect that Strange is getting here from his opponent. If one of the best Protoss players in the world says, hey, I know what you play like, and I don't feel comfortable playing my standard game. I want to blind counter you by going for a Robo Bay and probably starting Disruptor production as soon as I can. I think that is one of the highest forms of respect, because it shows that Hero is afraid of what Strange usually does. There's 5 Sentries out. Now, the reason why Disruptors are so freaking good against this is because it's a build that heavily relies on Sentry usage and on Immortals as well. So... And both of these things are not necessarily great against Disruptors. Glaives, if he goes for Glaives, which he is going for, are also freaking terrible against Disruptors, obviously, because Adepts, they tend to clump up. They tend to get hit in the face by Disruptor balls. And, Oh, do we need more reasons? No, I think that's pretty much it. We have some nice vision on the sides here for Hero, who's only on 49 workers. And what? He's going for the gravitic boosters here. So wants to go for a Disruptor drop. Okay. Nah, this is a build order. Not the one that I'm familiar with, but it's a build order that is very cool. It's gonna be down 2 upgrades by the time this push is gonna hit. As Strange at 89 supply, Hero at 94. It's going to be 3 Disruptors out. Hero's scouting this. I think he's gonna either cancel the gravitic boosters or never build a prism. Like, there's no way that is ever going to be used in this game. Because right now we're already at 6 gates. We're going up to 8 gates. We're waiting for +2. Okay, this is just how Strange plays. He just sits at home and does nothing. Because if you sit at home and you do nothing, nothing can go wrong either. You're just sitting there building units, then eventually you push across the map. This is a good map to push as well. Like, this area is kind of powerful. We have batteries in solid positions forward already. So I'm not really feeling it here for our good friend Strange. I'm a big fan, of course, but I just don't think this is gonna work. There are 3 Immortals out. There's 6 Sentries, which are gathering a crap ton of energy. Now we're getting our first Glaive Adept warp ins. Supplies are eerily close, which is somewhat scary for a Hero, but I think the Disruptors are going to be a bit of a game changer for sure. We also have, look at this, he hasn't even seen the freaking Glaives yet, but he knows they're coming and he starts with a wall in the natural, and I freaking love Hero for that. He says, hey, what is a good way to deal with Adepts? Right, just wall them out. That way they can't cause any chaos either. Because one of the ways that Hero lost that last game is due to those Adepts just shading in, killing 18, 19 workers, and forcing a Hero to fight into his opponent. So I do appreciate that quite a bit. There's going to be a full wall here. There's 4 Disruptors out right now. Actually 5 Disruptors. There's one going to be stuck behind the wall. Here we go. Big blink forward. 1, 2, 3 shots. Sentry's going down. New Disruptor shows up over here. Just gets a single Adept. Can we re-wall? Super Battery gets activated. Great start of the fight here for Hero. Don't forget upgrades severely in favor of Strange with +2 versus +0. But the Disruptors are going to reload, and that is going to be an issue that Strange will need to face at some point. There's 3 batteries out as well. Once again, the full wall gets constructed. I think Hero is trying to snipe that battery with 1 shot. Or sorry, Strange trying to snipe that battery with 1 shot, and he manages to do that. Disruptor's now moving forward. I think it's going to be a pure Stalker army from here on out. Glaives don't really make a whole lot of sense if Disruptors are out, and it makes you wonder if perhaps Strange didn't do a good enough job just scouting for that. Here comes a blink forward. 1, 2, 3 Disruptors get taken out. Supplies are not that close anymore though, and that might be an issue. Still 3 Immortals shooting. 53 supply to 43. Don't forget +2 versus +0. Single Disruptors are not very useful. Here comes a Pro Pool. Uh-oh. Hero is not feeling it. Hero is afraid. Adepts now being warped in as Zealots are also moving forward. And here we go. Big blink forward. Try to go perhaps for that Prism. Won't quite get it. Charge lots are, well, covering the distance between them and the Immortals. And that means Immortals in a bit of trouble. Prism gets sniped. And I think that is going to be it for now. 83 supply to 57. Too many Stalkers here for Hero as Strange taps out with a GG. But that game got kind of close still in the end. And it almost makes you wish that those Adepts would have gotten in at some point, you know, caused a little bit of chaos. And maybe, just maybe, this would have had a slightly different ending. But it didn't. Hero with the win here is going to take out our favorite ladder hero. And that is going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Bye bye.